it, but God said it's yours. They said you wouldn't make it, but God said I'll open doors. They said it was over for you, but God said it has just begun. They said you might as well give up the fight, but God said the battle is already won.
I'm here to give you a word about faith. The Bible says in the book of Hebrews chapter 11 that faith is the substance of things hoped for, things that are not yet seen. The Bible tells us that without faith, you cannot please God. We need to have faith as believers. You need to have faith. We are walking by faith. You believe by faith. You have not seen, but yet you believe by faith that whatever that the Lord has spoke to you in your life, that it shall come to pass in your life. It may not be there yet. Things around you may be looking like it's not making sense, but I'm here to assure that if you can raise your faith, and keep going, that the Bible says that Jesus prayed for his disciples before he was about to be crucified. He said a prayer and he said that, Father, I pray that their faith will not fail them. When Paul was imprisoned by the Romans, he did not lose his faith because he was persuaded. He was persuaded and he was determined because he had the faith that what he believed in, the same grace that said that what he believed in cannot fail him. I want you to know that what you've set your faith on, it cannot fail. If you are just determined, if you keep going and running this race. By faith, Abraham obtained his promises. By faith, he left his homeland, his comfort zone. I came to encourage you that whatever God has spoke to you in your heart, whatever he's laying in your heart, it may not look like it is what the Lord has spoke to you about. It may not make sense. People around you may say that what is she doing? What is he doing? But just know that if you can listen to the voice of God and walk by faith and go to that promised land, the promises that the Lord has promised you in your life, they're not going to come just like that, but they're going to come by faith, that you keep on believing by faith. So I'm here to encourage you that it doesn't matter what voices are speaking against what the Lord has spoke to you. Let me tell you, vision is important in a person's life. If you can get hold of a vision and engrave it on your heart and you run with that vision, despise the odds, despise what they say, despise who says what in your life, because if God has called you and God is the one that told you, you are going by faith. Remember that God's ways, we cannot reason with human reasoning, so they will not understand, but that's okay. Just keep going. Keep going after that thing that the Lord has told you, that vision, because it is yet for an appointed time. The Lord is saying it is yet for an appointed. When the Lord gives you a vision, it is for an appointed time. He has set that time already for that vision. Now it is for you to walk towards that vision. It is for you to believe by faith. It is for you to be walking by faith, because before you get to that vision, things are gonna come, challenges are gonna come, situations are gonna come. You're gonna be laughed at, you're gonna be mocked at, you're gonna be talked about, and you better be ready to face all those things. You better be ready to face people talking about you. You better be ready. But just know that if you can cling on to God, you will reach that vision, because it is time and season. Our God works in time and season. Your time may not be now, but know that your time is coming. Just give it time, because God comes at the perfect timing. The Bible says that when Lazarus was dead for 4 days, Mary began to weep, began to cry, and said, Lord, it's been 4 days. But it may look like it's too late, but just know that God can resurrect. It takes only but a day. It takes only but a day that God can turn a situation around. May God bless you, because if He said it, He will do it. He's a faithful God. You know what I love about God, that if he's the one that spoke it to you, it don't even matter along the way the things that come, the mistakes that you may have made. Because we see Abraham, when God gave him the promise that he's gonna bear his son Isaac, that was his seed that the Lord promised him. But because of the time, and they began to think that it's too late, we are old, so they devised a plan to go and make Abraham sleep with their maidservant Hagar. But that didn't stop, his mistake did not stop God from fulfilling, because God can't go back on his word. When God says something, that's it. It don't matter, but that's how it's going to be. Still, the promise of Isaac came. Whether Abraham made the mistake, but the promise did come. So I want you to know that your promise
says you have purpose. They said this problem will never end, but God says I'll bring you out, my child. They said you might as well throw in the towel, but God said this